talk about, the importance of breastfeeding, while we're talking about the first 1,000 days, breastfeeding is again a very, very critical aspect of this. And we have with us Neha Dhupia, actor and first-time mother, Angad Bedi, actor and first-time father, Parul Ori, chief editor, Momspresso, and Dr. Raghuram Malaya, he's the director, neonatology, as well as the founder of Amara Human Milk Bank, Fortis Lafair. Neha, you have been working on spreading awareness on breastfeeding. In fact, last year on 2nd October, you were here on this platform, you were joined us and you were telling us about, how you wanted to work on this. And in the last year, I've seen you've done a lot of work on this. You started Freedom to Feed. What was your thought behind it?
Firstly, I'd like to start by saying a very warm good evening to everyone here. Unfortunately, because of technology, I can't tell who all are online, but I did see a glimpse of Bachchan Saab. So, Bachchan Saab, very warm good evening to you as well and to everyone watching.
Thank you.
To answer your question, actually, I have to say that last year on the 2nd of October, when I was sitting on the panel with all of you, all the experts, and of course, Dr. Pranay Roy and Bachchan Saab, everybody was sitting there. I got a huge amount of encouragement sitting over there that day, and I was like, I need to take this voice forward. It's been a year. We built a very large community of mums and experts where we talk about freedom to feed, and freedom to feed is a place where we come of lack of any sort of judgment. So we're not judging you. There's no stigma attached to breastfeeding. There's no stigma attached even if you want to feed your child, formula milk. The only thing that we advocate as far as mums or new mums is concerned is that every mother in their own right is amazing and is trying to do her version of what she thinks is perfect for her child. And more importantly, what a mom does is always the best. I mean, for their own children, सबको ऐसे लगता है कि वो सब अच्छा कर रहे हैं. हम यही कहते हैं कि जो हर जगह जो माँ अपने बच्चे के लिए कर रही है, वो बहुत ही बेहतरीन तरीके से giving it 100%, and that's exactly what we talk on Freedom to Feed as well. A large part of the conversation revolves around breastfeeding, and therefore a large part of the community of mums that we have are new mums, and we have some great conversations, for them and with them.
So, Dr. Raghuram, tell us, just simply in simple words, we do know breastfeeding is very important, but many a times, a lot of mothers cannot feed their child for whatever reason. How does a mother actually cope with that? Because it's one thing, a mother feels guilty or the family feels that she can't feed. Tell us, how can a mom cope with that?
Good afternoon to everybody on the panel here and to all the viewers. I always say breastfeeding is the most natural and the easiest method of feeding a mother can do for her own baby. Actually, it's not as difficult as people make it out to be, and it can be simplified quite a bit. But the problem that happens is a lot of mothers, immediately after giving birth, go through a lot of stress. There's a number of factors that affect how the feeding works from there on. There is a lot of people who are giving advice to the mother. I always feel that the mother's instinct is the right instinct, and usually most of the mothers get it right. But there's a lot of people advising the mother what to do. It can be quite challenging, especially after you've delivered a baby. You're going through a lot of emotional ups and downs. There's a lot of pain and discomfort some mothers do have after delivering the baby. They're quite tired by the time they start getting to feed the baby. And especially at this vulnerable period, if there are a lot of people giving you wrong advices or many advices, it's very difficult for the mother to concentrate on the feeding. So I always advocate that the mother should be well prepared even before she delivers the baby. And she should be sensitized about the breastfeeding and the importance of breastfeeding and what to expect when she starts breastfeeding the baby. A lot of times it will not be as easy as people make it out to be. Like I said, the mother's quite tired. She doesn't know that the baby is going to wake up. Mother will not have any independence about when she can sleep and when she can be awake. She cannot determine this. Her cycle has to match with that of the baby. All this, if the mother is sensitized prior to delivery, and if they are aware of it, it makes their life a lot more easier. In our hospital, in fact, we sensitize both the mother and the father. I think the father also plays a very crucial role in getting the mother to successfully breastfeed the baby. If all these things are done correctly, usually breastfeeding is not as big as a problem as people make it out to be. Also, there's a lot of misconceptions. There are a lot of people in the house who say, don't give the initial milk, wait for the milk to come in. You have only once the milk comes in, then you feed the baby. Don't give the baby colostrum. All these things can be addressed in the antenatal period before the mother actually delivers the baby. I think more importance should be paid towards sensitizing the mother even before she delivers the baby. And I think in my own experience, when we have done this, we've seen that a lot of mothers are actually more prepared and they know what to expect rather than be surprised with a lot of, sort of, if I can put it this way, a lot of rude surprises. So I think it's very important to concentrate towards this aspect of trying to sensitize the mother, and they need the maximum amount of support in the first 1 to 2 weeks. We as healthcare professionals as well should concentrate not only while the baby is in the hospital, but once they get discharged, to try and help them with this. And most importantly, I always tell all the mothers that you should enjoy this period. It should not be like a sword hanging over your head and saying that this is the only way to do things. And most mothers should look back and say that they actually enjoyed the period of breastfeeding. It should be a bonding process and an enjoyable process for both of them.
Angad, hello, how are you?
Amit sir, how are you?
I'm
I
fine,
hope you're in
thank
the
you.
pink
You
of
look
health.
good.
So are you. I'm only trying to be 10% of what you are.
Angad, as a recent dad, I just wanted to ask you, from your experience, how do you think dads can contribute to the whole process of feeding, emotionally, physically, mentally? What would you say to new fathers or fathers-to-be?
Sir, I would like to say is that I think the fathers should don the role of being a protector, which is very important. When the baby and the mother are in the hospital and the mother is nursing, it's a very sensitive time for both of them. And I feel the father should understand that. And obviously you get a lot of visitors and they want to see, it's all good. But I think a little bit of privacy should be maintained. Another point I would like is how you burp the newborn. It is extremely important. They teach you, but then you have to practice it on your own, and you have to help your spouse and your missus in extending that helping hand. The third point I would like to make, sir, here is that it's important to sometimes really, I feel the husbands should become the wives, and I think it is extreme to try and think from that perspective is extremely important, because the mother can get exhausted. She will be tired. She will be cranky. She will have a lot of emotional. Her graph will be very up and down emotionally, physically. It's a very demanding job, sir. So I think you have to be there all the time. Sometimes even to be understanding as to, children and babies can have a problem in latching, or mothers can have an issue where they might not produce milk immediately, and that might take time. And for that, I think their confidence also does suffer. And I think that there is no harm in, getting some help so that you can go through that tough time. It is something I and Neha did witness was postpartum. And I think that it's very important that we educate our men in our industry, as not just in our industry, but also in our country, as to what postpartum really actually means.
Yeah, Angad, how many times did you make your baby burp?
I think, sir, as many times as possible, because I think I enjoyed doing that, and I thrived on the fact that due full credit and full marks to Neha, but I think I would burp Meher slightly better than Neha.
Well,
No, I have to say,
oh, come
I have
on.
to add over
We
here
have to
that-
give a right to reply to Neha now. Quick right to reply.
Yeah, no, I want to
Yes.
add two things over here. So there was, I just told Angad an old lady's tale saying that, apparently if the height is really high, the baby burps very well. So, between 5'7" and 6'1", there's a height difference. So he took that job up very seriously. And the other one, of course, for a lot of fathers, you would know this, that there's the hunger and the thirst after you feed your child is another level. And it always helps when your husband is willing to cook up a meal for you at 3 in the morning. So Angad did contribute like that as well. So yes, it does help. I want to just refer back to Doctor who was talking earlier, if I may take an extra minute, sir, of your time, that he did say that, we have to sensitize the mother, we have to educate the child and the mom, and you don't know what you're in for, and you're in for surprises. One of the big things that we need to mention, and as somebody who runs a community called Freedom to Feed, I would just like to mention that the biggest surprise that we are in for, especially as women, I always say this, that in rural areas, women are far more empowered when it comes to breastfeeding. It's like wherever they want to feed the child, they go ahead and do it. Even for us, we can do it as moms, but I just feel that the facilities are lacking, and we need a lot more facilities over here. So I think the biggest shock that comes to us as far as breastfeeding mums is always an option. बाहर जाएं कि बच्चे को फीड करें, कि मॉल में जाएं कि बच्चे को फीड करें, कि ऑफिस जाएं वहां पे बैठ के जगह मिलेगी नहीं मिलेगी या नहीं मिलेगी. So I just feel that there has to be a certain voice or a community that comes forward to make even better facilities for breastfeeding moms, so that it's not an either or in their lives. And and I understand it's an isolated process and you have to be all by yourself, and that's why maybe a little more kind of work towards providing convenient spots would be a step in the right direction.
Okay.
Wonder how we can do that.
Yeah, I think this will be.
I think you'd have to schedule your travel movements, Neha. I don't know how how can someone make that provision? I mean,
No, but then there are some places where you've got breastfeeding pods. I mean,
but
in fact, it's very interesting.
It has just started.
Yeah, it's just started
Yes.
with a couple, like the malls have
It
taken
just started,
initiatives.
sir,
Absolutely.
but the thing is that, I know enough and more friends of mine or women or people who reach out to us through our community saying कि हमको corporate job करना है तो वहाँ पे हमारे पास जगह नहीं है, या फिर हमको because new moms want to do different things, or they want to go to a mall and shop, or when they want to go to a mall and shop in 3.5 hours, they'll have to just go to a bathroom and say कि bathroom में जाके हमको बच्चे को feed करना है, which is not the right thing. We need to have a voice in the direction. There are communities, there are pods that are being made, but like even parks, even if they have a small little corner where we can, like our new moms can have this facility, it's a really, really wonderful step for
Correct.
them as well.